What happens to a strong woman when she loses the love of her life? In Heartland, Amy Fleming faces that very question. Ty Borden was more than her husband, he was her partner, her support, her best friend. Season 19 doesn't forget him, but it also shows us something beautiful, how life continues even after heartbreak. This season, Amy rises not by forgetting Ty but by learning how to live for her daughter, her family, and herself. The journey of healing begins here. Heartland, Season 19 begins with a quiet sadness. The ranch is still the same though wide open. Fields, the sound of horses, the familiar family kitchen but something is missing. Ty's presence lingers in every corner. Amy still keeps his photo in the barn. Lindy, their daughter, asks questions that no mother is ever ready to answer. And yet, every day, Amy wakes up and does what she's always done. She takes care of the horses. She takes care of her family. And slowly, she begins to take care of herself. Jack, her grandfather, notices this change. He's always been the silent strength behind the family. And this time is no different. He doesn't push Amy to move on. Instead, he simply reminds her of who she is. You were strong before Ty, he tells her. And you're still strong now. His words mean a lot, but it's Amy's actions that speak louder. She starts taking on more cases again, helping troubled horses and training ones that others had given up on. It's not just about work, it's therapy. Healing animals helps her heal too. Lou, Amy's sister, has her own set of challenges. But she never lets Amy go through anything alone. Whether it's taking care of Lindy or helping manage the ranch, Lou shows up. And that's the heart of Heartland showing up. Even when life gets hard, even when the pain is still fresh, we also see how Lindy, now a little older, brings unexpected joy into Amy's life. She starts riding her own pony and even talks about becoming a horse trainer like her mom. These small moments matter. They remind Amy that life didn't stop with Ty's death, it just changed. Season 19 doesn't rush Amy. There's no sudden transformation. Instead, we see slow, real growth. We see her laugh again. We see her look at the sunset and smile. And when she talks to Ty's memory at night, she doesn't cry like before. She speaks with peace in her voice. Because love, even when lost, leaves something behind. Strength, courage, and a reason to keep going. As the first episodes unfold, viewers realize that Amy's journey is not about forgetting Ty, it's about honoring him by living fully. And in doing that, she becomes more than just Ty's widow. She becomes a symbol of resilience. This season shows us that grief is not the end, it's the start of something else. Something quieter, deeper and, maybe, one day, even joyful again. They say the heart doesn't forget, just learns how to feel again. That's the silent question floating in Heartland, Season 19. Is Amy ready to open her heart to someone new? After seasons of sorrow, the idea of love returning to her life feels impossible, but not entirely unthinkable. And this season dares to gently ask, what if healing also includes hope? Amy doesn't chase love. She doesn't even talk about it. But in small moments, quiet smiles, shared glances, deeper conversations with someone unexpected, something begins to shift. A new character enters the story, not as a replacement for Ty, but as someone who understands Amy's grief without judgment. He doesn't try to fix her, he just listens. And sometimes, that's all it takes to light a spark. Viewers begin to notice the subtle changes. Amy isn't just surviving anymore, she's starting to live again. The scenes aren't dramatic, they're soft, a moment over coffee. A quiet evening watching Lindy play. A shared ride across the fields. These aren't grand gestures, they're reminders that life still has more to offer. But it's not only Amy's heart that's in question. Lou and Peter face their own test. After a rocky relationship full of separations, reunions, and co-parenting challenges, Season 19 explores whether they can truly rebuild what they once had. If too much has changed, there's tension, yes, but also deep care. They've grown as individuals. Now, the real question is whether that growth can fit into one shared future. Fans who followed Lou's journey will feel the weight of every decision. Her mayoral responsibilities, her children's needs, her loyalty to the ranch, all these pull her in different directions. But her connection with Peter still burns beneath it all. In one emotional episode, a simple conversation between them becomes a turning point. No shouting, no dramatic music, just honesty. And in Heartland, honesty is where real love begins. Back at the ranch, even Caleb finds himself facing new emotional territory. His journey in season 19 isn't about romance at first, it's about rediscovering his identity as a father and friend. But as the season unfolds, Caleb's path starts to cross with someone who sees him in a new light. It's quiet, it's slow, but it's real. What Heartland gets right again and again is that love doesn't arrive like a storm. It returns like spring. Soft, cautious, a little scared. Season 19 doesn't rush romance. It lets it breathe, and in doing so, it gives fans something more than just a new love story. It gives them a story of second chances. Heartland has always been about more than just horses. It's about the strength of a family that never gives up even when life gets messy. In season 19, that theme returns stronger than ever. This time, every member of the family is walking their own road, facing their own storms, and still somehow finding their way back to one another. Let's talk about Georgie. Her presence has been deeply missed, but her name still lingers like an echo in the ranch halls. And while she hasn't been in the spotlight for a while, fans are holding on to hope that she may ride back into the story. In season 19, there are signs, conversations, passing remarks. A letter perhaps that suggests she's not forgotten. Amy still looks at old photos. Lou talks about her with pride. And Jack always leaves the porch light on, just in case she comes home. Meanwhile, Katie is no longer the quiet little girl in the background. She's growing into a young woman, strong-willed, curious, and bold. This season, Katie begins to question everything: her future, her family, and even her place in the Heartland legacy. There's one scene where she stands in the barn, staring at a horse that won't let anyone near it. Everyone else gives up, but Katie doesn't. She steps forward. And in that moment, we see it: she's a Fleming through and through. Tim, on the other hand, is still learning how to be a better man. Marriage to Jessica brought peace into his life, but peace isn't something Tim is used to. He still struggles with pride, with the past, and with opening up. Season 19 gives us a closer look into his relationship with Jessica. There are sweet moments, quiet dinners, laughter, even a road trip. But there are also tension, secrets, fears, and the baggage of years he never unpacked. Jessica, and patient, keeps him grounded, but she also challenges him. And that's the test: can Tim grow, not just as a husband, but as a father and grandfather too? And what about Jack? He may be older now, but he's still the heart of the family. This season, Jack finds himself taking on more than ever. He's a mentor to Katie, a shoulder for Amy, and a quiet guide to Tim. But even Jack has his limits. One episode shows Jack in a rare vulnerable moment, sitting alone in the loft, looking at an old photo of Marion. It never really gets easier, he says to himself. And yet, the next morning, he's the first one up, making breakfast like always. That's Jack's way: quiet strength, steady love. Heartland season 19 doesn't paint a perfect family. It paints a real one, full of hurt and healing, mistakes and forgiveness. This time, the triumph isn't in the big victories. It's in the little moments: a hug after a fight, a smile through tears, a hand reached out instead of pushed away. These are the victories that matter. In a world where everything changes, the family at Heartland reminds us of what should stay: the same loyalty, love, and showing up, no matter what the fences may creak. The paint may chip, but Heartland Ranch still stands tall, not just as land, but as legacy. In season 19, the ranch once again becomes more than just a setting. It's a living character in the story, a place of memories, healing, and hard choices. The land remembers. Every hoofbeat on the soil, every sunrise over the pasture carries echoes of the past. And now, the future of Heartland is beginning to shift. Amy's connection to the ranch runs deeper than ever. It's the last place she saw Ty alive, the first place Lindy rode a pony, and the space where she continues to mend broken animals and broken hearts. But keeping the ranch running isn't easy. There are whispers of financial pressure, of land disputes, and offers from outsiders who see Heartland as property instead of history. Amy isn't just protecting her home, she's protecting a promise. The season explores what happens when something sacred is threatened. Lou, now balancing her role as mayor and mother, finds herself caught between town development plans and preserving the integrity of Heartland's land. There's even talk of a new road project that could run dangerously close to the property line. The town sees progress. Lou sees a risk to everything her family built. Even Jack, who's seen more winters than anyone, feels the weight. He quietly fixes fences, inspects the barn roof, and shakes his head when he sees survey markers on the horizon. They don't understand, he mutters. This isn't just dirt. It's where our family learned to survive. Amid all this, Amy finds comfort in what never changes: the animals. This season, she takes in a once violent horse, with deep trauma. Everyone tells her to let it go. But Amy sees something else in its eyes, pain that mirrors her own. As she works with it, piece by piece, she rediscovers her own strength. Her bond with the ranch deepens. It's not just about horses, it's about healing the land, the soul, and the future of the family. Heartland Ranch is more than a place, it's a heartbeat. And in season 19, that heartbeat is tested. But it never stops. The Heartland Ranch may be the soul of the show, but the community around it is the lifeblood that keeps it pulsing. Season 19 brings this truth to the front because, no matter how strong a family is, they don't stand alone. The neighbors, friends, and even rivals around Hudson all play a role in shaping the season. But this time, the community is not only a support system, it's also a source of fresh tension. We begin to see old faces stepping into new roles. Lisa, elegant and steady, remains by Jack's side but becomes more involved in town matters than ever before. Her ties with the equestrian elite begin to clash with Lou's practical politics. One storyline places them on opposite sides of a funding debate: a youth horse program that Lisa supports, versus budget cuts that Lou is being pressured to implement. It's not a fight, it's a challenge of values. Both women care deeply, but in different ways. And in season 19, even friends must learn to stand on opposite lines with respect. Then there's Caleb. Still the cowboy with a tough front and a soft heart. He finds himself pulled in unexpected directions. As a single dad, he's learning what it means to put someone else first. Always. One episode shows him refusing a rodeo contract that could bring in big money because it would take him away from his child. That sacrifice doesn't go unnoticed. Amy watches him, not with romance in mind, but admiration. Their bond deepens not into love, but into something just as rare: true friendship rooted in shared struggle. Not every face in town brings warmth. This season introduces a sharp new Tanchuna land investor with charm and money, and a plan that threatens the peaceful pace of life in Hudson. His arrival sparks debate at town meetings, divides loyalties, and even causes rifts between longtime friends. For the first time in a long while, Heartland faces an outside threat, not from nature, but from ambition. But in the middle of it all, are the small, beautiful reminders of what community really means. When Amy falls ill for a few days, the town doesn't hesitate. Meals show up at the door. Horses are cared for. And Jack finds a neighbor fixing the fence before he can even grab his gloves. These aren't just acts of kindness, they're habits. Unspoken promises made over years of shared history. Season 19 reminds us that no matter how rough the road gets, a town like Hudson stands together, or not at all. And for the family at Heartland, that kind of support is both their safety net and their greatest test. Sometimes the smallest voice carries the loudest echo. That voice is Lindy's, the daughter of Amy and Ty. In season 19, she is no longer just the child wandering the ranch barefoot. She's growing up, and with each passing day, we see more of Ty living through her eyes, her heart, and her unshakable courage. Lindy begins to ask harder questions. Not just about horses, but about her father, about why he's not there, and about the stories people whisper when they think she's not listening. Amy tries her best to answer, not with fairy tales, but with truth and tenderness. Your dad was a hero, she tells her, not because he fought battles, but because he loved us with everything he had. Those words don't just comfort Lindy, they also help Amy heal. This season, we see Lindy step into the barn, not just as a child, but as a learner. She helps feed the horses, she brushes them gently, and one powerful moment shows her calming a wild pony no one else can approach. It's more than just a connection, it's instinct. The way she moves, the way she speaks to animals, mirrors Ty in ways that bring tears to Amy's eyes and Jack's as well. She's got his soul, Jack says in a soft voice, staring at her from the stable door. And yet, Lindy's journey isn't only about remembering her father, it's about becoming her own person. In one memorable episode, she wants to enter a junior rodeo event not because anyone pushed her, but because she wants to prove something to herself. Amy hesitates. She doesn't want to see her daughter fall, but Tim surprises everyone by encouraging it. She's a Fleming, he says. Let her ride. That moment becomes a symbol for the season. Lindy, standing on the edge of her own story, carries Ty's memory not as a burden, but as a compass. And Amy, she begins to see that raising her daughter isn't just about protection, it's about letting her grow, fall, rise again, and chase her dreams. Ty's shadow is everywhere in season 19, but it's no longer a weight, it's a light, a legacy. And as Lindy laughs, rides, and stumbles her way into girlhood, the entire family begins to understand. Ty isn't gone. He's just living on in her asterisk when the sun sets over Heartland Ranch. It doesn't just close another date seals, another chapter in a story that keeps growing, just like the people in it. Season 19 is not about starting over. It's about carrying forward. With every scar, every lesson, and every fragile hope stitched into the lives of those who remain. Amy isn't the same woman she was. In season 1, she isn't even the same woman she was when Ty died. And that's the quiet beauty of it. She's not trying to go back to who she was, she's learning to be someone new. Someone stronger, wiser, and still, somehow, soft where it counts. Whether she finds love again or chooses a path of solitude, it's her choice now, one made not in grief, but in grace. The final episodes of the season gently build toward change, not loud. Shocking cliffhangers, but emotional turning points that stay with you. A conversation by the fire. A walk through Ty's favorite trail. A look Amy gives when she sees Lindy sleeping. Ty's old hat resting beside her pillow. These are the moments that hit hardest, not because they surprise you, but because they speak truth. But not everything is quiet. The future still holds battles. The ranch's future is still uncertain. Relationships that seem steady may crack. And the return of a familiar face, possibly Georgie, or another long-missed character could shift everything. There's a promise in the wind. Not everything is settled yet. What's next for Heartland? More love, yes, but also more choices. More risks, and more reasons to fight for what matters. Because the journey never really ends, it just changes direction. As fans, we don't just watch Heartland. We feel it. We grow with it. It teaches us that families bend but don't break. That healing takes time, and that real love never truly disappears. It only changes form. Season 19 doesn't ask for tears. It asks for faith. Faith in the land, in family, in second chances. So as the final frame fades and the horses gallop into the distance, one thing is certain: this story isn't over. It's just riding into a new beginning.